So this is going to be the first video in a series that I am making called Identity Crafting, which is in response to a video that I made on TikTok talking about getting crystal clear about what it is you want to experience, getting crystal clear about who it is you want to be, and the step-by-step method I've done to properly list out exactly what I want in every single area, every single avenue of life, whether it be wealth, business, health, spirituality, mindset, everything, social life, everything. Getting clear on each and every avenue in a proper document that you can look at frequently so you can remind yourself of the things that you've listed out, so you can easily access it, read it, tap into the feelings of fulfillment and gratitude that come with it. So you can attach pictures from Google or from Pinterest to help you access that level of gratitude and fulfillment when reading it in another way. And I got a ton of comments on that TikTok video, people wanting me to do a step-by-step video talking about how to do this. TikTok only allows you to make 10-minute videos, and I thought I might as well make a podcast into this. I think this is a great idea. Hopefully it can help some people. So I just want to emphasize that what we're doing right now is creating an in-depth document of your ideal, most upgraded version of you. The version of yourself who you ideally would like to be in every single area and every single avenue of life. We are going to get as crystal clear as humanly possible about who it is you are and what the most ideal version of you not only looks like physically, but what their day-to-day is like, who they are as a person, their character, what their social life is like, every single detail that we can think of. We are going to put in this document. We're going to add images to it. And this document you can print out, you could look at on your computer, whatever the case is. And it's like, you are this person. You're creating yourself. When you are this intentional about creating the most ideal version of you, everything changes. And that's what we're going to do in this series. So in part one of this series, we're just going to go over the first steps to really getting crystal clear about what it is you want and then creating this document and the setup and the format of what this document is going to look like. With this document that we're going to create, we are going to be using it to visualize our dream life. We're going to be scripting out every single thing that we want, getting clear about everything that we want in each category, and then we're going to use visualization as a method to put ourselves into fulfillment. This is what I've done personally. Like I said, this is what I have recommended other people to do. People say that this has worked for them, so I just want to share it on here. I'm not a genius when it comes to this. I'm not some spiritual guru. This is what I've done in my life and it's worked. And this is what I've recommended to other people who I know and people who have reached out to me, and it's worked for them too. So I'm just sharing what I know from my perspective. And if you want to follow along and do this practice, hopefully it'll have some benefit to you. I have a very strong feeling that it will. But I'm just talking from experience and sharing from experience. So what I recommend you do while you listen to this is open up a Word document or a Pages document or a Notion or a Google Doc, whatever software you want to use. And if you want to do this by hand, you can. It'll probably take a lot longer. I know, in fact, it will take a lot longer, but it's a good practice. You may want to do it after you've listed it out on the computer because it's just easier to type. But I recommend that you take some time and do this practice while listening to this recording. So before we get into it, I just want you to take a second here, take a deep breath, get present, and realize that what we're doing right now is creating the upgraded version of yourself. So take a minute and ask yourself, in your wildest dreams, who do you want to be? So from this point on, I'm going to be intentionally leaving some gaps in between the words that I speak and the sentences that I start, so you can just be present and learn to enjoy each moment in between words, the gaps in between words. Because this is an important practice, getting clear, getting intentional about who you are, who you see yourself being. This is important. And when we do this practice through presence, while we are present, we take some deep breaths while we do this. We're aware of ourselves and our thoughts while we do this. It's only going to help. Close your eyes and really think about this for a second before we get into it. Don't limit yourself. Just detach from old narratives, old stories, what you think you are, who you think you are. If you could do anything, if failure was not an option, if winning was the only option, and you could be, do, or have whatever it is you want, what would you do? Who would you be? Let go of all self-limiting beliefs. Think of the person who has the things that you want in life. See them, visualize them for a second. Actively do this. And now when you open up your eyes and you sit down and you think about all these things, they make you feel good, don't they? When you think about yourself, the ultimate version of you, doing the things that you want to do, having the things that you want to have, maybe giving back to people you've always dreamed of giving back to, that makes you feel good, doesn't it? Having that clear intention, so getting crystal clear about what it is we want, and then putting ourselves in an emotional state where we feel like we already have the things that we want, or that we're grateful, for example. Those two are really the key to experiencing what it is you want. Having that clear intention, so getting crystal clear about what it is we want, and then putting ourselves in an emotional state where we feel like we already have the things that we want, or that we're grateful, for example. This is because your brain can't tell the difference between what is real and what is imagined, what we are experiencing in the 3D and what is imagined within us. Our brain, our body can't tell the difference. And that's straight from Dr. Joe Dispenza. If you are familiar with any of his teaching, his books, his videos, I'm sure you've heard that before. An elevated emotion and a clear intention. And when we talk about emotion, if you have a clear intention and elevated emotion when you're visualizing what it is you want, for example, over time that emotion will turn into a deep inner knowing, which we will talk about later. But when you have that deep inner knowing that what you want is already yours because you've reached an emotional state where it just feels real, that's what we're talking about here. So clear intention, elevated emotion, deep inner knowing, however you want to combine them. When you feel like you already are the person you want to be, which we will get to a place where we feel that way from doing this exercise, that is super key. By focusing and putting your attention and energy into a vision of the future, you are drawing those events and circumstances to you. So how do we actually visualize properly? And again, I want to reiterate, you may be asking, I thought we were creating this document, why are you talking about visualization? It's because you can have this document and you can spend the time getting crystal clear about what it is you want in all those areas, all those avenues of life. But if you don't look at it, if you don't use it to help you visualize and put yourself in those positions now, and so you can feel as though you are the person you want to be now or in the position that you want to be in this moment, then it's just useless. Like, you take the time and do this properly and just not know what to do with it. So that's why I want to give you this background before about how to visualize properly, the importance of visualization, how you can use it to actually implement it within this scripting practice. So you can actually just use everything to help you. And again, this is something that I've done for my life. It's about 14 pages long. This is what I recommend other people to do. Other people have done this practice and they've seen a ton of positivity that come from actually having this document. So that's why I want to share it. So how do we actually visualize properly? Well, visualization is supposed to be fun. If you feel like you need to do a visualization before you go to bed or first thing in the morning, you need to implement it into your life or else you won't feel the fulfillment of the good that you desire. Like, that's not how this works. It's supposed to be fun. Visualizing your dream life, visualizing yourself being in a position where you are experiencing the fulfillment of the good that you desire is supposed to feel fun. We are literally putting ourselves in fulfillment. So whatever that means for you, we are putting ourselves into fulfillment when we visualize. If you're struggling and trying hard to visualize, then you're not doing the process effectively. Again, think about the things that you want to have, the experiences that you want to experience. So in other words, your ideal. They make you feel good. If someone were to give it to you now and you were able to experience it, they would make you feel good. You'd feel grateful. You'd feel happy. You'd feel in love with life. And when we visualize ourselves being in the position we want to be, having the things that we want to have, doing the things that we want to do, we can feel the exact same way that we would feel if they were actually given to us now. So just like you were thinking of a past memory in detail, put yourself into the shoes of the version of yourself that has the things that you want and experience the fulfillment of your desires right now. That's what we are going to do when we visualize. So now we're actually going to get into this practice. So open up a blank document on your computer and title it upgraded version of, and then your name. So for me, it's upgraded version of Sam. Step 1 is to write out your North Star. So after you write down the title, take a minute to think about the person who has the things that you want, the person living your dream life. Take a minute and actually think about this person. What is their North Star, their purpose, their mission? Their mission in life, the thing that drives them every single day. You can pause this, spend an hour thinking about it. Spend a day thinking about it. What is this person's mission? If you don't have direction, if you don't have a mission in life, you drift. Having a definite chief aim, as Napoleon Hill talks about, having a definite purpose, something that drives you every single day, is very key. And if you don't know what your mission or purpose is, presence is your friend. From connecting more deeply with your inner purpose, which is being here right now in this moment, you become more connected to knowing what your outer purpose is, which is what majority of people would call your purpose or your mission in life. So once you figured out what your mission is, what your North Star is, write out your first name, and then, so it would be Sam's mission and purpose, and then whatever it is. So if your name is Rachel, it would be Rachel's mission and purpose, and then whatever it is. And write it out in like a sentence or two. So let's say your name is Rachel, just to continue the example. Rachel's mission and purpose is to help people sculpt their best physique and improve their fitness and mental health. Like one or two sentences max. Then once you've figured out what this purpose is, just keep in the back of your mind, this purpose should excite you. It should drive you. Again, it's your North Star. It would be what you think about constantly. It should fill you up with joy and happiness when you think about it. If you were in pursuit of this mission, it should fill you up with gratitude. If you were lying in bed first thing in the morning and you started to think about this mission or purpose, it should launch you out of bed. You should be so excited to start working towards it or living your life with this mission because it's just who you are. It's what you're going for. Everything you do is somehow related to this mission. And keep in mind that this mission should ideally help others as well in some capacity. So once you've listed out your North Star, so write out, again, upgrade a version of blank North Star, Rachel's North Star, or whatever your name is. You list out it in one or two sentences. Now I want you to get into a little bit more detail. And create a story around your mission or your purpose. So for example, the world is realizing the power of becoming fit in both mind and body. Rachel wakes up every day full of radiant energy and excited to help others. Rachel's mission and purpose is to help people sculpt their best physique and improve their fitness and mental health. Every client that Rachel has feels amazing after working with Rachel. Rachel's energy lights up every room that they walk into, and Rachel is in full flow with helping others improve themselves both physically and mentally. So you have that one or two sentences, quick North Star, and then you have a small paragraph of what your North Star really entails. So now you may be wondering, why are we doing this in the third person and not the first person? That is a very good question, because normally you see a lot of people talk about how you should write your affirmations down in the first person, so you are writing from your most ideal version of you, and that works, and you could definitely do that here. The reason why I am doing third person, though, is because A lot of people feel too attached to the things that they want. And when you develop this attachment, you build up resistance, which puts a ton of separation between you, where you are right now, and where it is you ultimately want to go, or who it is you want to be. It's this added pressure that doesn't help anyone or anything. When you have this built up attachment and resistance, you don't get what it is you want. You don't experience what it is you want because there's just so much separation. You don't feel like you're worthy of being there or of being that person. Whether that's because you've been told your entire life that you can't do the things that you want to do, or you feel like you have a certain role in society that doesn't allow you to dream big, whatever the case might be, we feel too attached, and that is why we create the resistance and the separation. Whoever told you you can't be or do the things that you want to have was lying to you. By doing things in the third person, you are like programming your video game character, you can say. Again, I said that this visualization process that we're going to do with this script that we're writing is fun. It should be fun. And just like a video game is fun, we're controlling a character. With this scripting exercise that we're going to do, it's like we're programming our character to be the person we want to be. If we had infinite upgrades to our character, what would we do with our character? Who would we become? So this is just like a fun exercise that you could do to kind of separate yourself from who you think you are, your identity. And just like you were a video game character in a game, the game of life, you are figuring out what it is you want and assigning different roles to your character, just like you would in a video game. And by doing this, we detach ourselves from the outcome. We detach ourselves from who we think we are, like I said. And it's more fun that way. You feel less attached to getting the things that you want. Because like I said, that's not good. That's not going to help us. But keep in mind that this is your document. This is a completely personalized thing. If you want to do it in the first person and that is what feels more natural for you, then do that by all means. I use first person affirmations. I am X, Y, and Z, whatever it is. If you want to do it in the first person, do that. If you want to do it in the third person, do that. Do whatever feels natural for you, because this is, like I said, a completely personalized exercise. So now that we've gotten clear about what we're actually going to use this document for, which is going to help us visualize ourselves being in that position, and we've gotten clear about what step 1 is, which is your North Star, getting clear about your mission, in the next audio recording or the next podcast, the next video, we're going to talk about your identity and what actually entails in detail when it comes to who you see yourself being. So spend some time thinking about what your mission is, your purpose is. If you need help, DM me on Instagram at Presence of Being, where the community is on Instagram, and I will help you. If you follow me, you know what I'm going to say. Meditation, that will help you find your purpose and your mission. Spending time by yourself, connecting with your intuition, and trying things, of course, going out in the world and trying things. But I digress. That is step 1. So think about your mission, think about your purpose, and start to think about and understand why visualization will help you feel as though you were already that person now, in the present moment. I'm thinking this will be a 3-part series. So the first part being the background of visualization and your North Star, which is this video or this recording. The second one will be your ideal identity, getting clear about your ideal identity. And then the third video or recording will be an example perfect day and actually implementing the visualization techniques so you can feel like you are already that person now. So this is the end of the first part. Again, you can always DM me on Instagram if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next recording. Thank you for listening.